First flights over Patagonia, South America, 1928. Patagonia, a region of southern South America, spans the bottom three-quarters of present-day Argentina and Chile. The name comes from the Spanish word for giants, as the first Spanish explorers found local inhabitants noticeably bigger than Europeans. Patagonia includes the southern part of the Andes Mountains, the western side of which features rugged peaks, lakes, fjords, rainforests, and glaciers. The Pacific Ocean to the west and the Atlantic Ocean to the east are connected by several waterways in the far south, including the Strait of Magellan and the Beagle Channel. Gunther Pluschow, 1886 to 1931. Pluschow was a German aviator, aerial explorer, author and filmmaker. His feats include the sole pilot, 1914, at the German East Asian Naval Station at Tsingtao, China, in World War I, the only escapee, 1915, by a German POW in either World War from Britain back to Germany, the first, 1928-29, to explore and film Patagonia, South America, from the air. He was killed, 1931, on a second aerial expedition to Patagonia. Picture shows him with his son shortly before his death. Pluschow's pioneering aerial explorations of Patagonia in 1928-29 covered the bottom four regions shown on the map. Quotes in this video are from a story about Pluschow titled Call of the Wild. Picture shows the aircraft flown by Pluschow during his historic Patagonia, South America, expeditions. We do not have this aircraft in MSFS, so in this video we'll use a sort of similar Czech Letov S-328 payware aircraft. Pluschow sailed from Germany in his ship in November 1927. His aircraft was dismantled and packed and sent on another ship. They arrived here in Punta Arenas on the Strait of Magellan, Patagonia, Chile, South America, 11 months later in October 1928. Here in Punta Arenas he reassembled and tested his aircraft. After his ship explored the waterways and he tested the floatplane, Pluschow and another flew many times over Tierra del Fuego, Land of Fire, photographing the Darwin Mountains, Agostini Fjord, Mount Buckland, Sarmiento King of the Peaks, and other features of the wild and desolate landscape. Now part of a national park. There was no weather forecasting. Conditions changed swiftly. They risked sudden storms, hurricanes, fog, rain and snow, of whose likelihood they had to form their own opinions before starting. Many of the islands were laced with glaciers. Even in summer, ice floes floated on many of the waterways. Forced landings either ashore or afloat were fraught with peril. Once, they had to alight hurriedly on Agostini Fjord to shelter from a hurricane. They beached safely. Their ship bravely searched for them. Later, after they took off, they saw their ship tossing in storm-lashed waters and flew low over her. Every man of the expedition felt relief that all were safe, both in the air and on the sea. Unsatiated by pioneering as the first flyers to explore Tierra del Fuego, they decided to fly south across Beagle Channel to Cape Horn and become the first men ever to view, from the air and photograph, that forbidding zone which sailormen rightly feared. Now a biosphere reserve and part of a national park. They next took off to fly north to inland Lake Sarmiento. Clouds were thick, winds adverse. Pluschow climbed to 10,000 feet to try to see the lake beyond the intervening mountains. His radiator froze. His engine began to overheat and lose power. He was forced to descend through clouds to warmer air. Ice melted. The engine ran properly again. They emerged from the clouds above a lake, the Lago del Toro, Lake of the Bull. Lago del Toro was connected to the more distant Lake Sarmiento by a narrow canal, flanked by mountains, which they followed. Having reached Lake Sarmiento safely, they chose its eastern end for alighting. Their crew brought up stores and spares by road on a ubiquitous T-model Ford. To the west and north of Lake Sarmiento, Pluschow beheld unexplored mountains. With a rising barometer, they took off. They rose to 13,000 feet. The cold in their unheated open cockpits was terrible, freezing them almost into impotence. They surmounted fantastic peaks, rising ice-clad from an unexplored world. Now biosphere reserves, national parks, and UNESCO World Heritage Areas. Now enjoy some extracts from the original film made by Pluschow of his Patagonia aerial exploration. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.